Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Elevate Your Soul podcast. Today, we are talking about expectations. What is an expectation? When you let yourself become emotionally dependent of an outcome and not wanting to accept the reality of what is. All an expectation is you setting yourself up for a high probability to be disappointed. If you have no expectations, you cannot be disappointed. Really try to make sure you don't get trapped into a negative mindset when placing expectations on your life or on other people. When you do this, it just puts yourself in a negative, dark space and just will end up attracting more negative, shitty situations in your life. After having an expectation and things not going the way we planned or wanted them to, it can feel really shitty, but we need to make sure we don't stay in this negative mindset where you don't feel that you're good enough or the world and the universe is against you or that people don't like you or that your life sucks. Become aware when you get in this mindset and do help avoid getting yourself into these low vibrations by just practicing not to have expectations on how your life should be or the way you're meant to live your life. And just as importantly, or if not more importantly, stop placing expectations on other people. Placing expectations on other people, such as your family, which we do a lot, you're my mom, so you're supposed to do this, and you're my brother, so you're supposed to do this, or in relationships especially, you're my boyfriend, so you have to do XYZ, or you're my best friend, you have to do this for me. It ends up creating this really awful space between you and the other person, because when they don't meet up to your expectations of what you have of them, they're going to end up disappointing you, but they're not going to necessarily mean to disappoint you. It's just them living their lives and being themselves, and that disappointment and that feeling of negativity is really coming from you and not the other person. If you take a second to think of some people in your life who seem constantly disappointed and frustrated, do you see how it might be because they are placing a lot of expectations on life and other people and the way things should be? You can have a preference, but make sure you're not attaching yourself to the outcome. Acceptance of what is and what's happening to you doesn't mean you have to like it. It just means you get out of that place of resistance and frustration and regret, which will only end up making you feel worse. An example of having an expectation and then getting disappointed in the end and it kind of being your fault would be, say for example, a girlfriend and a boyfriend have been dating for several years, and the girlfriend has an expectation that he is going to propose to her and ask her to marry him, which may possibly never end up happening. So she is getting disappointed, she is getting frustrated, she is getting impatient, whereas marriage and proposing isn't really something that he's wanting right now, or he might think that she's not even interested. So it's so important that we communicate with people we're in a relationship, and that's including friendships and just anyone, on if we're having expectations, to make sure we're not placing those on other people, and if we're wanting something more from someone, that we communicate with them about that, so that they're not left in this weird, I have to read your mind kind of space. Just a friendly reminder, when you're in a relationship with someone, you cannot read each other's minds. Just throwing that out there, because that might be another expectation that some of us have of our partners. There are so many other examples of having an expectation and then getting disappointed in the end. And a lot of times we have expectations and we're not even consciously aware of it, such as being invited to a party that, we get upset that we're not invited in the end. The only reason you're getting upset for not being invited to a party or somewhere is because you actually had an expectation that you would be invited, or getting a job that you applied for and that you feel you're totally qualified for and then not getting in the end. That's your fault for placing this expectation that you're going to get this job. Or driving to work on a sunny morning and then you end up getting frustrated because there's traffic or someone had an accident on the road and traffic is super clogged up and now you're going to be late for work. It's like, well, you had the expectation that it would be smooth sailing and you gave yourself 40 minutes to get to work because it always takes 40 minutes to get to work. But today it's different and you're freaking out about it and getting frustrated and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to be late for work. Fuck. Life is just grr. And it's like, well, you actually had an expectation that it's going to take you 40 minutes to get to work. And you had an expectation that no one's going to be dumb and drive off the road and cause an incident to clog up the traffic even worse than it usually is. So there are endless amount of ways that we can place expectation on other people or ourselves or life. And we just need to become aware of when we're placing expectations and trying our best not to. And as I said earlier, definitely you can have a preference and you can have a desire of what you'd like, but we can't always control every situation. So let's not place expectations on things and therefore become emotionally upset when they don't go the way we've planned them to. I hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast. If you have any questions, as usual, contact me on Instagram or Facebook, or if you just want to get in touch and let me know that you understood it or I shined light on a few things you never really realized before, please. I love hearing from you guys, and I hope you guys all have an amazing week. Until next time, ciao.